One marketing psychology trick that I find very effective is what I call association. So it's taking things that have the positive image that you want and surrounding yourself with those things, or surrounding your brand or your product with those things, so that people start associating the attributes of those things with your product, your brand, your image. Now, I think this is particularly important when you don't have a lot of brand recognition. So this is typically when you're under $10 million in ARR, average recurring revenue, or just average revenue in general. So what you can do is, instead of spending a lot of money building up your own brand, you can partner with organizations, partner with events, partner with celebrities or influencers whom you want to associate with to enhance your own recognition. Now, some psychologists or some marketers might refer to this as clustering. So you're clustering different things together so that there's kind of this cohesive position that you're securing in people's minds. So it's really about brand positioning, which is more a psychological concept than anything else. Another way of describing this is stereotyping. So you want people to stereotype your brand in a way that's positive, or that reinforces the message that you're trying to send to prospective customers. And the reason this is important is because people only have so much mind space. They can't categorize every little thing into individual different pockets. Instead, what they do is they cluster things together in associations and say, okay, this belongs in this bucket. I only have so much RAM or so much space to create new buckets. Now, an obvious example of this is when you look at some luxury brands like Rolls-Royce. Here, I'm looking at the example of Dior. What they're doing is they're leveraging Natalie Portman, who is this very credible actor who's highly respected and esteemed with Academy Awards and whatnot. So they're reinforcing their cluster, their stereotype, by associating with the celebrity, and vice versa as well. So I think there's probably a benefit to Natalie Portman as well by being seen in all these Dior ads. So Dior is luxurious, so is Natalie Portman. Another example, and this is not a product, but I'm going to mention it. There is this influencer on YouTube who's associated with the brand Nomad Capitalist, and you can see that he's partnering with people that are credible and that have influence in the same target customer group as he does, and perhaps even stronger influence. So Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's an excellent choice to partner with him because he is an association that you would want to have to reinforce your brand position in the market. And there are other people too, like the former president of Georgia. That gives you credibility, and this helps give you more kind of brand recognition. Now, this happens to be for a consultancy, not a product, but there's no reason that in your marketing communications you couldn't leverage the same kind of influence, the same kind of credibility. Other examples that I see quite often is in podcasts. So often when people are just getting started with their podcast, they will invite people that have a lot of credibility to come on their show. So, for example, in the SaaS space, we know that there's this company called ProfitWell, and the CEO of ProfitWell has a lot of credibility. So what I've seen with somebody who has a smaller podcast is she invited the CEO of ProfitWell to come on to her podcast. So having those credible names and credible brands associated with your brand helps create the psychological effect that you're almost equal, or you're being bucketed into the same space. And that is an incredibly efficient way to do marketing, much, much more efficient than investing a ton of money in brand awareness.